everyone, welcome to Creating with Ali, and today I'm going to be making another card just like this one. I'm using up some of your washi tapes that you might have lying around. You can use a different background dye, but it'll give you an idea of the technique that you might be able to use. So this is how I went about making this card. So firstly, I'm going to start with a piece of a bit of embossing powder around the place. This is the size that will fit on the front of the actual card itself. And I'm going to use my washi tapes to run up and cover and make the background for the front of the card. So basically it's a great way to use. If you've got lots of washi tape like most crafters may have, this is a really good way of getting rid of it all, and also making some really nice projects in the same, and making some really nice projects as you go as well. Alright, so just alternating between the colours as you go up along the card, and I really liked how this turned out, so I can see myself using this technique quite a bit. I've actually got these ones here. I'm thinking about using those for a next card, so I just bought these from the cheap shop. I think it was actually Kmart I got those from. So they're the three that I bought. These ones came from Officeworks. They were $5 for the three of them, so I'm getting good use out of them. I've hardly made a dent, and I'm on to my second card. So take that up. Right, so the dye that I'm going to be using is from Dynamics. This is it here. It's the sunburst sort of one. What's it called? Sometimes they have names. Sunray. It's called Sunray. So the Dynamics Sunray. I actually really like my favourite things, dyes and stamps. Dyes mostly. So I'm going to use this one to cut from the washi tape background that I've just made. So, okay, so once you put it through the machine, then you should have your dye. There it is there. And to get this out, you just use your bit of a tool. It helps to prise out the dye from the background. So just gently take that. There we go. And then you have these other pieces. Now you could use these on another card, so I might even give that a crack at some point, but not today. So there we have the Sunray ready to go. Now I'm going to mount this onto a piece of yellow card. Alright, so that's going to be fine. Okay, now inside I'm going to emboss. So I'm going to be using the orange for this one. I just want to see if that looks a little bit different. I use the yellow. This is the Whispers Smooshing Powder Yellow. And I'm going to use the Smooshing Power Orange for this next card. And I have my embossing tray here ready to go. But before I do that, I'm actually going to use my Zig Writer to glue this embossing powder down. And the reason why I'm using that is because I can actually have a little bit of control as to where the glue is going. And I can colour in the sections. I'm just going to go ahead and do that now. There we go. Right, let's get that embossing powder on, shall we? So just popping this in the tray, smooshing powder out. All over the top. I love this tray. I used to use the paper like most people do, fold it in half to get it back into the container, but since I've had this tray, there's no going back to that. Now anything that's come over the edges, you just use a soft brush to brush those bits off without brushing it out of the parts that you want the powder in. Quite a lot of powder there. I think it was my hands. My fingers are a bit covered in glue. Doing a bit of card making today. Okay. And this tray has got a little hole in the end, so all you need to do is just tip it up, give the embossing a little bit of a tap, and it all funnels down into your container. That saves all that mess. Now there are some gaps there, but I'm going to heat this and I can always come back and fill those. So get my heat tool out. Be careful not to first pass is looking pretty good. bit different to the yellow. By comparison, I think the yellow probably stands out a bit more. I think I did a neater job on the yellow too, to be honest, but that's okay. Now we need to make our little sentiment down the bottom, and I did that using my favourite thing, By the Letter dies. Now, By the Letter dies come with single letters like so, and you have to kind of put them together to make the word that you want. And if you need double ups, then you're going to have to run through your machine more than once. So that's a little annoying, but anyway. So I think I'm going to use Smile, the same one as I did before. So I need that, L and the E. Now the letters. Letters on. So again, just using the glue. Many people still use big shot machines currently because with all of the cricket and silhouette machines that are out at the moment, they've kind of, people aren't using the die cuts anymore. I know I still do. I love my die cut machine, my big shot. I also like my Expressions cricket machine, which I do have, but my office is really an interesting thing. It's really just a bedroom that we put together to kind of make a bit of a study craft room. It's very cramped in here. It's probably like most people's houses, to be honest. I don't have a special room, and for me to use my cricket, I've actually got to wheel it across to where the PowerPoint and the computer are. I've got it on its little trolley thing I bought at Officeworks, and plug it all in. And you know, sometimes it actually makes more sense for me to just grab out the big shot machine and use a similar die than to sit there and muck around in Cricut design space, making up words and so on, and then printing them out and getting them cut. Mind you though, if I had to use my Cricut for this particular title, I could have had it done in a way where all the letters joined, and then I wouldn't have to be lining them up individually like this to stick them down. So there's pros and cons with anything. That's better. All of that gets mounted onto the front of a card, and I use my double-sided tape for this one. Just holds it down on each of the edges, and because it's had a bit of an embossing, it's buckling a little bit. There's all four sides and a bit down the middle, and there you have it. I think I actually prefer the yellow one. This one looks a little bit messy. I think it's because of the darker colours you can really pick up, whereas any of the yellow that kind of went off blended in much better with the background. So yeah, it's a little messier, this card, I think, compared to the yellow one. You can actually see that. So you could easily use all sorts of washi tapes over a card front like I have today. Any colours that you have in your stash, and any of your own sort of background dies that you might have on hand. And this is a really great way of using up some of that washi tape, because when you know that when you actually make a gap in your stash, then you can go shopping and you can fill that gap with something else, don't you? Is that really the way it goes? I don't know. If you've enjoyed this video, don't forget to give me a like, and if you would like to, you can subscribe and you'll get updates whenever I release a new video. I've slowed down a little bit. In January I was putting up one a day, but I've gone back to just a couple a week now, just while I'm at work. It's a little bit easier when I'm on holidays. I do get the time to do a lot more scrapbooking, so that's the reason why the frequency slowed down a little bit, if you were wondering. And on that note, I'm going to leave it here, and I'll catch you in the next video. Keep creating. Bye.